you were not always this way. You were never a procrastinator with dealing with conflict at all, but you were never so immediate.
I agree.
What happened is what I wanted to know. If you can maybe answer that with what you're...
Yeah, I've witnessed and experienced the fallout of relationships, personally and professionally.
From waiting too long.
And I thought, man, I could have helped out with that.
That's good.
But because I didn't say it, they were forced to hear it from other people.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven and family-focused and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
What's up, Self-Talk family?
Hey, guys.
We are back.
We are here.
And we're going to help you to say some good stuff to yourself.
Talk good to yourself. I want my voice to be like our voiceover friend. Talk good to yourself.
Yeah, you got to look them up. Hey, Donald, go ahead and put your link down here because they need to look you up, man.
Absolutely.
That's who does our intro, outro.
He's amazing.
Yep.
He's amazing.
Yep. Talk good to yourself. Hey, guys, today we're going to talk about something, in my opinion, is one of the greatest qualities to have as part of your toolkit, both in your personal relationships and your business relationships.
Okay.
In my opinion, it is one of the best qualities to have in your relationship toolkit.
Okay.
No doubt.
What relationship? Like marriage or?
All relationships.
Okay.
Every single relationship you have.
Business relationships.
Every single relationship you have.
Friendships. Family.
What part of every did you get just now?
Babe.
No, there's people watching it, they know I'm joking. You're listening, you're like, oh, they about to get into it, which may cause our viewership to go up. Come on, let's argue real quick.
Babe, no.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So
Crazy.
it is transparency.
Yeah, transparency.
The quality.
We were just talking about transparency.
That's why I thought it'd be great for
we
an
were
episode.
just talking about transparency.
It's full transparency.
What does transparency mean to you? Because I'm curious to know if you have the same thought or definition as I do.
I don't know if this is the definition, but for me, it's see-through. Like anything that's transparent, you can see through it. You can see exactly what it is. Like what you see is what you get. I'm not going to put on a front because I'm at this place in front of this crowd. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if it's an after 5 or after 6 event, I may dress differently than I would if I'm going to a cookout at 2 p.m.
Right.
That's not what I mean. I mean that if you're in a relationship,
Okay.
and you cannot admit that your feelings were hurt, you're embarrassed, disappointed, angry, then you are in an inauthentic relationship.
I agree with that. And I think that I would take it a step further because for me, not only is it sharing and full transparency, being honest, for me, I feel like I can't really be transparent if I don't feel like I'm in a safe place and I won't be judged and there won't be any repercussions from what I'm sharing and what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I may not be in a place where I feel like I can be in all honesty.
Fair. And that's fair. So, but wouldn't you agree if that you're in that place where you feel like you cannot be transparent, then it's not a relationship that can be looked at as a fully authentic relationship.
Or it could be a relationship where the permission isn't there yet.
Yep.
Still developing or still forming the communication. So it still could be an authentic relationship.
Right, but it's not at the place where you're fully transparent.
I don't feel like I can open up and share without it maybe being an argument or maybe being judged secretly.
Right.
I want to...
So let me push back a little bit. So what if you're just meeting this person?
Okay.
And they're asking questions. In full transparency, you would answer the question honestly.
Right.
If you're saying, hey, I don't really know this person yet, so I'm not in this safe environment, do you not answer the question honestly? Do you say, I don't want to answer that question? How do you avoid that?
That gets tricky because sometimes what's your definition of being honest? Because you may just you may just leave some stuff out.
Okay.
I'm not lying. I just didn't say everything.
Okay, hold on. If you're not, honesty is honesty. It's being truthful.
Okay,
if you're
well
leaving
then,
part of the truth out, then you're putting part of a lie in.
Okay. Well, then the answer to your question is maybe that relationship isn't at a point where I feel like I'm in a safe space.
Okay. That's fair.
And I don't want to answer the question. So instead of not being honest, then you're right. I would have to say, not really comfortable answering that. Not really comfortable talking about that, because that is the true honest answer.
Right. And guess what? In that moment, you're being transparent.
Yep. That's true. That's very true.
See?
That's very true.
You just bless somebody.
That's very true.
Right? Because you were able to say, hey, I don't know if I'm comfortable answering that right now. And that would be honest.
Yeah, but you just helped me.
Right.
As we were talking through it.
Girl, I'm good for you. Better keep me around.
Because I was getting ready to just lie. I'm just kidding. No, I would never do that. I would never do that, especially to you. Never do that.
I don't know how we've lasted this long, guys, with her being partially transparent.
No, with you, I do feel safe, usually.
Oh, okay.
Without any judgment. You don't judge me when I'm transparent, do you, babe?
Can we get back to the topic?
Oh,
No,
this is a topic.
Okay,
The topic is transparency.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so we're okay. We're in a good place.
Yeah.
Right?
So no, we are. And look, we've had conversations, because when you are transparent, you have to be willing to put yourself in a place where by being fully open and transparent, that this person may feel some kind of way. Like, just because someone is upset doesn't mean you're wrong.
Well, this is the other thing too. When you are being transparent, is it just about you and how you feel? Because you shouldn't use that as a time to badger someone else or judge someone else, right? Because you should be sharing about how you feel and what emotions you are feeling. Now, if those emotions are caused by the person, then there's a way you have to still address it. But I feel like you have to talk about your authentic self and not so much, well, this is about how you made me, right?
Yeah. And I think, yes, the answer is yes. Here's what I found. Let me just talk about our personal relationship, then I'll get into what I've learned in my experience with business relationships.
Okay.
And we've both been blessed to be, for those who don't know, we've been blessed to be in a position where we've led a team of hundreds of thousands of people. So we have dealt with a lot of turmoil, happiness,
a lot of different personality types, for sure.
Joyful, joiners, quitters.
Joiners and quitters.
I'm just saying, a little bit of everybody, right? People who made promises, didn't hold to them.
Sure.
It's a constant mirror held up to me where I can see my own inadequacies. I can see my own flaws.
Right.
So it causes me to look inwardly and say, man, how could I have operated as a leader in a way that could have not caused this conflict, or could have helped someone to move through this conflict in a better way? And that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
But let's talk about our personal relationship first.
Sure.
When I get to business. So what I found in our almost 28 years, if you act right, 2 more months, it'll be 28 years.
Please keep me, Darnell.
What I found is that there were times where we decided, because it's always a decision, to be fully transparent on how I felt about a certain situation.
Okay.
And it caused you to ask me questions. This is going to bless somebody right here. It calls you to ask questions, because whenever you want to grow in a relationship and you want someone to be more transparent, it's always best to ask questions and not to be accusatory by making statements. Sometimes statements make the person feel like, I don't even want to talk anymore.
Right.
I want to communicate. But questions in a way that doesn't come across like, I can't believe, why did you do this? The difference.
Right. I was going to say, it's the way you ask the question too.
That's correct.
right?
That's correct.
That's important.
So, but if it's about me, in this case, if you're asking me the question,
Okay.
it's really about you, not about me. Here's what I mean. If you're asking me a question like, well, why would you do that? Then it's all about me. Mm-hmm. But if you're saying, hey, this is how this made me feel, and can I ask, what could I have done differently that would have caused you to respond differently?
Wow. Instead of just saying, why would you do that? That made me mad.
That's exactly right.
You have really nowhere to go but down from that.
It's tough. It's tough. And it all depends on the relationship. But what I found is that if there's something like you said that didn't make me feel empowered, it made me feel less. It made me feel maybe even sad that you would say that. And then you're like, oh, that's not how I intended it. But it's better for me to say, hey, the other day or earlier today, you said this and I felt this way. Mm-hmm. Not you made me feel this way. Mm-hmm. I felt this way.
Right.
Because I get to choose how I feel.
Right.
So you don't really make me feel a certain way. I chose to feel that way based on what you said.
Okay.
So you said this, I felt this way. And then I can ask the question. And the question could be something like, can you share why you said that way? Or was it something that I did that caused you to say it that way?
That's good. That's good.
You know, because what we both want from this is to be better in our communication with each other. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about being transparent. And so if you don't know that it hurt my feelings, and I can't say to you that it hurt my feelings because I feel like there's going to be some judgment, or you're like, you're too sensitive, right? Or whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be.
Right. Then how do we work through this so that we're better on the other side of it? We're not. All we did is put a Band-Aid on it, and the same thing happens next week. The same thing happens next month because I didn't admit to you that it made me feel this way.
But you have to get to a point in whatever relationship it is that you can say that, babe. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
Because knowing it is one thing, but being comfortable saying it is different.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times where I know what I should say and I know what I have to say, but for some reason, I don't feel safe saying it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Well, what we learned in one of the episodes from Amari Hughes is that sometimes there needs to be a time in which you're going to have the discussion. And it may not be the time where you're angry because now you can't even think about what you just heard on the self-talk episode. And we told them how to say it, but you were so angry, you just said it the way you felt it and not the way that you knew it would be more fruitful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, we'll dive a little deeper on personal relationships, but I also want to get into how to use this quality of leadership called transparency in your professional relationships when we come back and hear from our sponsors.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, fam? You got to connect with J&E Builders. They buy homes in any condition. J&E Builders even help out with distressed properties. And if you're dealing with a significant amount of taxes, J&E Builders will assist you with that home as well. Give them a hit at J&E_builders. That's at Instagram at J&E_builders.
Hey, Self Talk Experience family. If you want to do some great shopping and get great finds like this, follow my girl, thebrianna.k on Instagram. And if you want to shop, go here.
So author and trainer Monty Sanders has been in this health and wellness space for over 20 years. His most notable clients are NFL Hall of Famers Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. And guess what? He's got an Amazon best-selling book that you can gain access to right now. It's The Power of You versus You. I'm going to tell you right now how you can get access to that and his other programs. All you have to do is go to thepowerofyouversusyou.com. That's it. Thepowerofyouversusyou.com to get access to that amazing book as well as all of his other programs. Hey, what's up, Self-Talk Experience family? Listen, I thought I was going to get some bathrooms renovated, but I had no idea when I connected with my man, Stanley Neal, that it would be more than a renovation. I'm not even sure what the term should be. Maybe transformation, because I started with the bathrooms, and all of a sudden my entire basement was redone in a way that my family members thought I moved. Seriously. So if you're looking to take your house to the next level, whether it's some custom construction, some transformation of your bedroom, your bathrooms, your family room, your great room, I did it all. I mean, if I showed you my entire house before and after pictures, in fact, I'm going to show you some, you would say, no way is that the same room or the same house. Listen, I'm just saying this because I've got personal experience with this gentleman. So you want to connect with him, I'm going to give you the number, his office number to reach him, as well as email. And again, you will not be disappointed. So if you want to reach him via his office number, 202-359-3923. Again, 202-359-3923. And email is Stan, STAN .Neal, NEALJR @FreshAirLLC.com. Connect with my man Stan. You won't be disappointed.
We are talking about transparency, and I was thinking about it's really hard to even start a conversation when you are not confident and having tough conversations. And a lot of times it's hard for me to even begin to want to be transparent because I know that it's going to be tough to get it out, tough to say it, and even tough for the other person to hear. So how do you even get yourself to a point where you are confident enough to say, okay, the relationship is where it should be. I have the permission. I feel like it's a safe space, but it's still hard to say.
Yeah.
You have everything is lined up, but then you have to get that extra confidence, that boost to say, okay, they're not going to like this at all. They're not going to want to hear how I'm feeling, but I have to say it.
So if it's this is good. I'm glad you brought this up. If this is a relationship that you care about pursuing, or that you see as being a long-term relationship, or a relationship that's beneficial to the team,
sure,
professionally or personally,
right?
You're like, look, I actually like this person, right? Or I actually want this to work because they're such an asset to the team. So as long as you still want this relationship to work, then it's not that tough. And let me tell you why. Because what you want from this transparent conversation is what's best for the other person. And if I want what's best for you, this actually isn't really tough for me to say because I know where it's coming from. The tough part is when you don't know how they're going to receive it based on what they think of your relationship. So if you know, like if I'm having a conversation with a particular person who's like, look, we're brothers. We're brothers and sisters. Or, listen, we're here to the end, man. We're going to make this thing work till we create $1 million entity or enterprise. Like, that you guys know that you guys really are fit.
Right.
Then it's not tough to say it.
That's true. So for me, just even asking that question, I have to shift my self-talk because you're saying it's not actually tough. I'm telling myself.
That's exactly right.
This is tough. This is going to be hard. But I can do it. So it's kind of like you think you're having positive self-talk, but you're really not.
So good.
Right? Because I'm thinking to myself before any of these conversations that I will have to have, okay, this is going to be hard, but you got this. You can do it. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be hard, but that's not positive self-talk. What you just said to me really helped me because you're saying it shouldn't be hard at all.
No, it shouldn't be.
Right.
And this is the reason why I approach conflict quickly with urgency, because the longer I let it fester, what happens is that people start to feel like, even if I did the best job ever approaching it with full transparency, honesty, they're like, you knew this for 2 months? You knew this for 2 weeks? You knew this for 2 days?
You were holding on to it? You didn't ever say anything?
This happened yesterday? You didn't talk to me about it yesterday?
Right.
So what happens is, even if you did a great job of communicating it, because we didn't do it with urgency, people feel some kind of way sometimes because they're like, well, if you really wanted to see this end up being productive, whatever that is, we just lost 3 weeks of productivity. We just lost 3 weeks of being better together. We just lost, right? So I get it. We talk about take a pause if you're angry. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stalling. I'm talking about procrastinating because of the fear that it's going to be a tough conversation. But the conversation isn't tough. It's actually fruitful. It's actually productive because all I want is for the best light to be shining on you. And I can actually say that to people. Hey, look, you know that I only want what's best for you. Is that correct? Yeah, of course, man. I know you want what's best for me. So, and because of that, I feel like we should have this conversation. So now all of a sudden the conversation isn't tough. It's honest. It's transparent. And it's because I want the best light shining on you. Unless you think I want the dim light shining on you. I want the darkest. The dark doesn't even have a light. Unless you think that I want the shadow on you.
Well, I have a question. What is your opinion on this? Because I had a situation recently where I did just that. I took a while to address something. And for me, it was my process because I didn't have the words yet. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like it was a stall. I feel like I needed time to think it through, to sit with it. But is that, you're saying that's not the way to be. You're saying that was a stall. But for me, I genuinely felt like I need a minute to really think this through. So I say what is sincere and I say what's right and I say what is going to be beneficial and helpful.
This is good. So let me ask you a question. Waiting one day to truly think it through, to truly let me get my thoughts together. Were those thoughts any differently 2 weeks from that point? Like you're really not going to think about that and come up with anything different in 2 weeks than you would in 24 hours, unless you really are thinking by getting insights, getting more research done, getting more discovery so you can find out more information before you approach your situation. Then yes, right? Because you're doing discovery, because you got to figure things out so that when you approach, you come with facts. You come like you're not saying, I heard, so maybe some discovery is taking place, then yes. But just because, this is my process, you have to ask the process for what? So it all depends, right? Process for what?
I feel like it was a process for me to get my words, but now I'm questioning.
I don't know if did you read a dictionary in that time?
No, you're making me
I'm
think.
being funny, right?
No, I know,
I'm just saying, what words are going to come to you? People are like, God, just give me the words, and
to express myself in a way that would be good.
Yeah.
So
this is good. I think I'm getting you. So tell me if I'm in your lane right now.
Okay.
Sometimes we take longer to have this conversation because we want to be in a place where what we deliver comes out in a different way that if we have not yet healed or we haven't gone through some type of healing process to say it. So some people truly have to go through some healing before they can go back and approach that situation, because then their communication comes across as hurt. And as much as they want the right words, it's really not about the words, but how those words come across. Because you can say the same thing to two separate people and they receive it differently because one is said with hurt and one is said with genuine love. Same words.
Right.
So perhaps, I don't know, I'm just guessing.
No,
I don't know the situation.
I think so. I'm thinking through it and processing it while you're saying it.
Right. Because
when we first started the discussion, I was thinking to myself, well, wow, I took a while to address that.
Right.
But I thought it was my process, right? Whatever that means to me.
Right.
But you're helping me and make me think differently. So in the future, I'll have a better process.
Yeah.
A faster process.
Right. And so let me just say this, especially for those who may be thinking, you know what, I'm going to go approach this situation tonight. I've been putting this off. You're right. I should not have been putting this thing off. This tonight is the night. Different relationships require different settings, mediation in some cases. Right. So I just don't want to come across as a therapist, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist. Honestly, we speak from our experience with the self-talk experience.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you
the
have
self-talk
to check.
experience is my experience. So what I'm saying is that some people are in an abusive relationship, physically. And so they approach the situation. They know there's a consequence to that. Mm-hmm. which is not healthy. Right. And so that's why I have to, make sure I say that, because I do know by working with a lot of people that people in so many different situations that you're right. They can't approach that situation, not even 2 months from that point, because of the consequences that come with them being transparent. Mm-hmm. So just know there are some other situations and variables that you have to consider when we're talking about this. Right. Because I wouldn't want anybody to put themselves in danger. So let me just say this in terms of professional relationships and what I found to be helpful in professional relationships. Unless you wanted to say something else, Dan.
No, I'm just wondering, while you're talking, you are absolutely, without a doubt, someone who takes conflict head on immediately right away. And I love that and do not love that about you all at the same time.
That was good self-talk, because you could have said, I hate that, but you said, and I do not love that.
Oh, no, I would never use that word. But, however, you were not always this way. You were never a procrastinator with dealing with conflict at all, but you were never so immediate.
I agree.
What happened is what I wanted to know. If you can maybe answer that with what you're...
Yeah, I've witnessed and experienced the fallout of relationships, personally and professionally.
From waiting too long.
And I thought, man, I could have helped out with that.
That's good.
But because I didn't say it, they were forced to hear it from other people or get advice from other people. And those people perhaps didn't say to them what I would have said. And so they're left to assume what it is I would have said because I didn't say it.
Right.
And so because of that, again, self-talk experience, because of my experience there, I have learned that it's easier for me to go ahead and have the conversation. So I don't have to say, I wonder what D-Self, thinks about this. Oh, because I already told you.
Yeah, we never have to wonder what you're thinking.
Like, no one, look, if you're watching this right now and I know you, kind of know you, and you think, I wonder if, he really feels this way about, no, if I haven't called you on it, then it's all good. Because if it wasn't all good, you already got the call. Like, that's just who I am. I'm not even saying that out of arrogance or being pompous. I'm just saying that's how I am. You don't have to worry about if I got a problem because you already know it. And I'm not even calling it like fight at all. It's not like that.
Oh, your children are watching this, and I know they are cracking up because they're like, oh, yes, that is dad.
Right. So
all the way.
But let's switch real quickly the last couple of minutes, because what we're talking about for personal actually works for in professional environments and spaces as well. And the reason why I said earlier when we first started, this is one of the best leadership qualities to have as a part of your toolkit, is because when you can give feedback and receive feedback, it makes for an awesome, cohesive, progressive team. Because you're able to say, hey, look, can you share with me how I could do better at that? Mm-hmm. Or do I have your permission to actually give you feedback on that?
And we always talk about the sandwich technique.
Yep. Why don't you teach what that is for folks who don't know what the sandwich technique is?
Oh, the sandwich technique is when you say something complimentary, say your constructive criticism, and then say something complimentary.
Right. So you got the bread, the meat, and the bread.
Yes. And sometimes you might have to put a little cheese in there and lettuce and tomato and a whole bunch of stuff for some people. But you get the concept of what I am talking about.
Yep. And it's not phony, right? Again, we're talking about transparency. So the compliment is what you found best about their presentation,
genuine.
about
Absolutely.
Their production, right? So it is.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, great job. Because you really think they did a great job, right? But hey, if I were to adjust anything to make it even better, it would be this.
Right. And then that's in the middle.
Right. And then you could say, hey, I would say keep doing it, because the only way you can get it better is by doing it. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see it the next time. Matt, you are awesome. That's
perfect. And you meant it. It wasn't fake.
Right.
It was genuine.
Right. Unless they really messed up, then you would say, hey, look, congratulations. Most folks would not have the courage to do what you just did. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable for you to step outside your comfort zone to do that. I would never do it again because it's not your lane. No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't say it like that. I just thought it was being funny. But I would say, hey, look, so do you mind if I ask a couple of questions? How many times you rehearsed that? I mean, I didn't. I just gave it up because it's probably because they didn't prepare. Right?
Sure.
So I would say, hey, before you do it next time, here's my three things I would advise. And you're like, oh, okay. but you want to make sure you have permission. So sometimes it's helpful to say, hey, do I have permission to give you feedback?
Well, that's going even farther than the sandwich technique, because you are not only coming with compliments, constructive criticism, you're actually coming with solutions.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's why I like to call it feedback and not constructive criticism. I like to call it feedback because it doesn't sound negative.
That's good, babe. I won't say that anymore. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anytime. So that's why I would just say, hey, look, you mind if I give you feedback? You mind if I give you some constructive criticism? Just sounds like it's going to be bad. Right? So it just sounds like, constructive tries to make, you try to make it sound better. Like, let me put some, an adjective there. So, but yeah, so in your professional environments, I would say ask questions, give feedback, ask permission, ask what could you have done better? Because perhaps as a leader, I failed them. The reason why they weren't as productive is because as a leader, I failed them. They're like, hey, if you could just let me know this, and this. I'm like, oh, I didn't tell you that, right? Because they didn't know because I didn't tell them.
Right.
I assumed they knew. So that could have been on me. That could have been on me. Oh my gosh, I apologize.
Well, babe.
Transparency.
That is very transparent. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people like me out here watching the Self-Talk Experience that have sandwiches with Darnell Self often. I do. Just thought about that. So I'm with you. Don't worry about it.
Hey guys, this has been another episode of the Self-Talk. I'm not even going to address that. Remember the things we say to ourselves about ourselves. And I hope that they're good things we're saying to ourselves, because you got to talk good to yourself. Check out the link. Buy it for yourself. Buy it as a gift. But whatever you do, buy it, because we need you to talk good to yourself. Can you imagine? You change yourself, you change the world, but we need you to change yourself first. Can't change yourself until you talk good to yourself. Because remember, the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually determines what and even who we attract for ourselves. It's another episode of the Self-Talk Experience.
Can't change the world till you change your shirt.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.